Hello everyone. I have been working tirelessly on getting things harvested over the weekend and getting my second table in here so that I can put up my larger grow light. It has been in storage for so long I forget what it kind of looks like, but it's basically like that one, only it's an older model and it's way bigger. Dare I say, I used to grow weed until I got raided, so that's why they're in storage. So we're gonna grow other things that won't get me in trouble. Yeah, we'll talk about that some other day. I had been bringing in the ornamentals and stuff like that for the winter, and I hung that there just so it didn't get all tangled up. And I put a fan onto the plants because we want them to have strong stems, and if there is no wind at all, like outside, they won't be as strong. You know, if you just lay around, your muscles deteriorate, and if you don't use it, you lose it. So I still haven't figured out why when I pull away it looks yellow, and I don't know. When I pull away it just looks like I got a bunch of dead things. However, the things that I transplanted in humus and manure, yeah, I pretty much killed them. So I had to go out and dig a few more items up that I destroyed, basically, which was lavender, and rosemary. And the rosemary that I had left, I harvested the crap out of it, and this little bit of growth grew back, because in my zone, growing zone, these die off and they've never come back. I've never seen rosemary seeds before. I'm not sure, it's one thing I'll have to study, but what I've been studying all morning tirelessly was the crocus bulbs that I planted for harvesting and collecting saffron, which is just as expensive, maybe more than gold sometimes, because it only grows 3 of the filaments, which is part of the female genitalia, basically, or reproductive. It's a plant reproductive systems. Most plants have male and female reproductive systems, but I don't really understand why. But this flower here that I cut, which I won't cut off again when collecting the little hairs, the saffron, came off of this plant here, which usually the flower bloomed before this foliage came up. I'm not really sure what's going on there, but the foliage is supposed to be up before the flower blooms. And there was just a flower there blooming, and it was a little tiny, I think, compared to normal. But okay, here's the deal, guys. I had some crocus bulbs up front, and actually they come back every spring. Well, that's the thing, okay? There's spring crocus, and there's also fall crocus. Yes, my L, I'm so happy I got my L. If I could get the lighting right. And plenty of walk space, got to keep the lazy boy, got a heater in here, and I put that foam up. Let me see. Sorry guys, I'm so sorry. it comes in a spray can, and you just blast it in the cracks, and it seals it up good. And in the springtime, it'll just pop right off when we open the garage back up in the spring. So anyway, come to find out, I did not know this. See, so I was under the assumption that I was going to plant these bulbs, these crocus bulbs, this fall, and in the spring I would have flowers. Well, upon further study, no, not if you are getting the Sativus, which is a triploid, which means it has 3 times the haploid number of chromosomes, I think. Anyway, let me look at my notes here. Okay, so the crocus bulbs I had up front that made me think that these bloom in the spring are called tricolor, and it's a Latin name. Before they're just all the Latin names, I have a hard time. I'm not even going to attempt this. Okay, so this crocus is a fall blooming crocus that I just planted, and unlike its sister crocus, the tricolor, I'm just going to call it that, it blooms in the spring. So I brought in the one that I had outside because I figured, okay, it's too, and they don't like a lot of water, and that's all it's been doing is raining, and I'm like, I don't want these bulbs to rot. So I brought the big pot that I planted under the assumption as that they were going to bloom in the spring. And so I put them under the light. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let these play out now in here along with the ones over there. And yeah, I'm a little concerned about that pot now that those bulbs are in over there. I think it's too small, but okay, I just figured I'll let them play out, and then I'll put them in the other garage where it gets cold, and just let them, like, you know, do their thing like they do in the winter time, because they bloom in October, November. These flowers come out in October, November. And so I'll let them play out in here, and then I will put them in the garage that's cold, and then in May and June I'm going to dig the ones up in the small pot and put them in a big pot like this one here. And then, okay, so every 2 years, they don't reproduce, so, but every 2 years they get Crohn's, I believe is how you pronounce it, which essentially is baby bulbs on top of the main bulb. So like every 2 years you have to dig them up and remove these so that you can get more flowers, because if you don't remove them, they just die off, apparently, from what I've been learning. So yes, I did all this by myself, but I'm gonna need some manpower to put the 1,000 up, because I need it to be secure and safe. And so we're gonna have to find some studs. I hope that there's a stud along here, because I want it, you know, on this table here. If there's not, we're gonna have to figure something out. It's gonna have to be there. I don't know, but it'll all come together. I'm trying to get this to stop. Anyhow, so another thing I did yesterday, since I can't really afford to go buy a bunch of clay pots, you know, I'll just start collecting big clay pots one at a time here and there from now on. But for right now, so I can get some things growing here under the light, I went to the dollar store, and everything there is $1, so I bought these. I bought 8 of them, and they're plastic, just like my milk jugs, and they were buckets that I drilled holes in, and so I got 8 of those, and I'm going to pick some seeds out. I was thinking maybe some lettuce and spinach in one, and of course definitely some cucumber seeds, and maybe a few zucchinis, and a couple, like, I'm not gonna overfill this. What I'm gonna do is, like, I'll plant like a triangle, seed there, and a seed there, and then let it go, and then into its cycle I'll start some more. So after the harvest, they'll have plants ready to go in there, because I have the lights upstairs in the kitchen that I can veg the seedlings. So probably, depending on the plant's life cycle, halfway through its cycle, I will plant 2 or 3 seeds more. So like 3 seeds, cucumber seeds in there, and like the lettuce and spinach, I can be a little more generous, I think. And I was gonna plant the spinach and lettuce in one bucket, because even though I'm gonna have my second light going and another table going, you still need some space. See how everything was like pushed together, and I don't want to really get it, real pushed together. So I'm going to incorporate little partners in here, like lettuce and spinach in one, and then of course the climbers, like the squash here. I'll do like the cucumbers and just plant 3, and do the cycling, and that I won't partner with anything. And then the zucchini, they get pretty big, so I'll probably only plant 2 or 3 seeds in there, and I won't partner that with anything. Actually, I don't even know if I should plant that many. Maybe I should just plant 1, because zucchini plants get really, really big. I probably should, but what I should probably like plant 2 or 3, and whichever one's the strongest, then cut the 2 and let the strong one go. I got some snow peas, because I have that 3rd trellis that I was thinking about putting at the end of here that it could grow on. Like I said, everything is not, set in stone, and I'll probably have to change things as I learn and stuff, because just like these crocus bulbs that I was under the impression was spring bloomers, like the ones I have up front. No, they're fall bloomers. So, but okay, I was gonna do some more chamomile, some spinach and lettuce, some caraway, some bell peppers, because the bell peppers in the store in the winter are so much money, and they're not very good for you, I've been told. So I've got a lot of options in my seed box, so it's just gonna be like a learning as we go type thing. But I have options, and I could also order some seeds from online. Let's see if I can set you down here without, oh boy, without it falling down. Oh boy. Oh boy. I would have to go and rip in the video. Okay. I'm in my lounge lizard clothes. I like to be cozy. So anyway, I don't understand why the flower came before the foliage, the green stuff. So if you have any ideas of what could have happened, please let me know. I just mainly wanted to show you that I got the L up. And yeah, I was up on Friday night until 5 in the morning cutting and cleaning collard greens, mustard greens, kale. I have this other collard green that's got like purple stems. I wish I knew the name of it, the technical name of it, but I might have it around here somewhere. And if I do, I'll post it in the description. Oh, that almost done. Oh, and carrots. In my last video, they were all just kind of piled up. Hold on a second. I heard Boo crying. He's out there all tangled up and being mischievous. Oh, say hi, Boo. Say hi. Yesterday, Jerry brought my daughter a velvet cake with white icing on it. And it was wrapped with cellophane. He put it in the room. And someone left her door open. And he got in there somehow, and it's up on a table, mind you. And he got up there and got the cellophane open and was eating cake. So he hasn't been feeling very well today, and he hadn't had an accident in the house for a very long time, but this was like not really an accident. He went outside, did his business, came in here, went right to the front door, and did it right by the front door, and yeah, not fun. And he's been feeling really under the weather. So, let's see, where was I? I totally forget where I was at. What was I talking about? See, it's been like this all day long. Oh yeah, the carrots. You've seen them piled up. Once I got them in big buckets and started washing them and everything, I had so many carrots to clean and cut and slice and put in packaging. And I did different packaging sizes. Like I got some that are packaged up I'm gonna put it inside. I packaged some of them for like soups and stews. Like I peeled them. I know some people say don't peel them, but I can't help peel some of the icky off of it. I sliced them and put not a whole lot in one bag for like soups and stews. And then I kept some of them, the baby ones. Of course, the bigger ones I cut in slices for soups and stews. And then the baby carrots, I kept the little tip of their greens on it. And they look like, you get in a fancy restaurant. But I kept them like that, to saute to go with meals. And then I got some fresh up in the refrigerator still, but I don't have enough room to store 20 pounds of carrots, so I have to freeze. And I don't have any, the utensils to can. I suppose I could ferment some of them. Actually, that'd be I think, I got some peppers in there too. I think I might go ahead and make like a relish, a couple of jars of fermented this and that. There's a name for it, but I can't think of it. 'Cause I really, today, I mean, the reason why I started this video is to talk about the technologies being used upon us. And I tell you what, today, you know, I'm having a hard time talking and remembering stuff. It's like I'm a Alzheimer's patient or stroking out or something like that. I really haven't talked about that in a while, but I am a victim of this technology. We all are, really, but I mean, I've experienced some heavy duty stuff with it. So I've just been really finding it hard to talk and communicate. I know the word, I know it in my head, but I can't get it out. I mean, isn't that horrible? I mean, but it's really horrible to not be able to talk. So, I got my L up, got my stuff all cleaned up, the greens and the carrots, got them in the freezer, and ever since that day, I remember I said, oh, it looks like it could rain. Well, by golly, it started raining probably about 1:32 in the morning, and yeah, I got the leaves mold. I was gonna say mulched and mowed, so I mold over, mulched and mowed. I mold over all the leaves in the back and bagged up a bunch too. And I didn't get to the front. So, and it's been raining, so, and it's supposed to get really cold, I mean, wintry cold. So that's a real big bummer. If it stops raining, I'll work it out somehow, but it kind of put a damper in my plans, as life sometimes does. But as you can see, it's raining and wet. I got although a lot of them blew back, but if you remember, that was really full of leaves, and I got that cleaned up. And I mean, they were just piled back there, if you remember right. And although a lot have flown back in, and I got that all down because some people like to wait to the spring to do it, but I find doing it in the fall is better for me, because sometimes I don't get out right away and everything's already blooming underneath all the leaves and the dead stuff, and me walking around in that corner trying to get all the dead stuff out in the leaves, I trample over all the new stuff. So if I do it in the fall, in the spring, everything can just come up on its own and I don't have to worry about it. But yeah, I got some bags and I mowed over a lot. I mean, a lot. To feed the yard. So yeah. Lots of carrots and greens. Like I got some, like a lot of the greens, some of them are in big bags for like a serving of vegetables for, you know, a few people, and then others, it's a smaller portion for like soups. And there is a big difference in temperature. Let me tell you what, it's warm in here. It feels good compared to out there. Saffron. The summer savory is starting to come up. Can you see it? Let's see. There, see. And the dill. Why? Why do they always congregate? See how they're all congregating outside? I put them in the middle. I could put the rocks down. I put the soil in, and then I even wet the soil down before I set the seeds down and put the final layer of soil on it. Maybe I'm going to need to wet the top soil before and just kind of patty cake it on there like you're making mud pies. Because once you water the top soil, even though you've watered the bottom soil, they all tend to like flow to the edge of the pots. This one did a little bit better, but I noticed the ones up top in the kitchen are doing this type of thing right here. But yeah, about planting. This I cut way back. I mean, it used to be this big. And it was just all dead basically. So I cut it back, and it's got new growth on it, all over it. Boy, is the new growth dying? It was more green. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I don't know. I'm going to keep it around for a while and hope it comes back. Same with you. This was the beautiful rosemary. Now look at it. Oh, go. That'll teach me for multitasking. Okay, and this I brought in to replace this one, and I had harvested the crap out of it. I don't know if I said that already, but they die here in the winter, so I need some more seeds or starts. I don't know. I might have to wait until next season, and that really blows because there's a particular tea that I wanted to make with this. And so this time used to look like that. I repotted everything, but the damage was done. I'll probably cut this back too, and because when I do harvest it, I do cut them way back, and I mean they grow fast and into bushes again. I'm hoping I'm gonna have to do some studying on that. Of course, the phone rings. Well, we'll just end it here, and I will see you guys later. Bye.